Hey everyone, today is Tuesday, the 31st of July, the end of the month. A buddy of mine asked if I would be interested in getting in on a D&D 3.5 game, and I said yes. But I'm a little concerned about some things. First of all, I've been playing 4th edition lately, and that game system was designed around fixing some of the issues with 3.5. Primarily that there were entire turns where some people just couldn't do anything. If you were a healer, all your heals were touch, so you had to actually be next to somebody to heal them. They addressed that with a feat later on, but it was a meta magic feat, so you would have to prepare spells in advance to use this trick, unless you were like a sorcerer variant, as it were. So, I mean, there was that issue. Pathfinder was designed around the principle of making it so that you didn't ever really have a dead level. By dead level, I mean all you got were nominal increases to your numbers. You didn't get any cool new abilities. You didn't get, spells or what have you. It was, it's like the level 5 for fighter. Never got anything. He got stuff you always get stuff at level 1. The fighter got a bonus feat at level 2, a normal feat at level 3, a bonus feat at level 4, and then nothing at level 5. And then he got 2 feats at level 6, one for it being an even numbered level, one for it being a level divisible by 3. Then he got nothing at 7, he got a feat at 8, he got a feat at 9, he got a feat at 10, nothing at 11, 2 at 12, so on and so forth. You get the idea. And I mean, it's understandable, but it's annoying. Like for example, the cleric. At level 1, you got the ability to turn undead, turn or rebuke undead, and you started getting spells. That was it. Aside from getting extra spells later on, and yeah, the middle portion, the extra abilities of your chart were blank. The paladin would get something like a remove disease a week, once every 5 levels or something. He would get his special mount at level 4 or 5. He would get access to spells at level 4, but unless he had a high enough wisdom modifier, he couldn't actually cast any until level 6. I mean, levels 1 through 6, Paladins got something almost every level. And then after that, it was every 5th level. Rogues got something very frequently. Monks practically got something every level. Or if they didn't get something, they got an improvement on something, like slow fall increased, or, unarmed combat damage increased. They could do another attack, what have you. Rangers, they suffered from dead level syndrome. Bards, not so much. Barbarians, dead levels. I mean, it was just... It was... I understand the balancing factor, but essentially you had entire classes that had a lot of filler levels until you got to the good stuff. Now, prestige classes were all designed around the principle of this is very specialized, so you get something practically every level, and here you go. But even then, prestige classes had dead levels too. Where you just didn't get an ability. It was a filler level until the next level when you got the ability, which supposedly would be balanced. Now, in the Star Wars role-playing game that Wizards made after 3.5 came out, it was kind of a hybrid between 3.5 and 4.0. It's almost as though the people who made Pathfinder had a say in it, because you did get something every level. You got a feat every even level, and you got a talent every odd level, unless you went on top of the feat you got every 3rd level in a base class. So you get a bonus feat from a short list at the class there, and then you got a talent, which were these passive or active abilities, depending, that were tailored to your class. The prestige classes, on the other hand, were designed around, again, focusing on something. So you always got a talent every odd level, and you got a prestige class specific ability every even level. So Ace Pilot got vehicle dodge every even level and got a talent from the expert pilot, the gunner, or squad leader, or wingman talent trees, or what have you. And spacer from the scoundrel. So, I mean, that I like Star Wars a lot better because, you know, you get something every level, and you have to plan for that something. Fourth edition, you get something every level. You might lose something at higher level, but it's usually due to the improvement of the something you got. And it was designed to streamline the number of powers you had. 3.5 had an issue with power creep. Star Wars has an issue with power creep. 4th edition, not so much. But 4th edition was designed around a low magic campaign where each item had maybe 1 or 2 abilities at best. D&D 3.5, you could have nested items. I remember my favorite character, Juan, had a pair of boots. There were like 4 pairs of boots in one. He had a belt that had two different abilities. He had gloves that were 3 or 4 different things. Yeah, I mean, he quite literally, some of his equipment started to be called Juan's boots, Juan's gloves, Juan's belt. I mean, because I had to write it on his character sheet somewhere, and then I had to have a separate section to detail exactly what they did. Or, if nothing else, to give me page numbers for the books so I could reference the abilities that they had. Like, he never left footprints in the snow, and he could be tracked by scent, and, you know, he had the ability to pop the boots and do a special thing, like special charge or what have you. The gloves had this ability so that he could get on a full attack an extra attack once a day or something. The belt had the ability to give him an extra D8 of damage once a day or something absurd. So, I mean, there were all these other little abilities that I added on, and it cost a lot of money over time, but I mean, you know, he's level 23. He accrued them naturally. But anyways, I don't know what I'm going to wind up playing. I need to find out how many players there are, if we're playing Gestalt or not. Gestalt is where you have, you take one character and you give him 2 classes that advance simultaneously, picking some of the best base features out of them. For example, if you're going Wizard Fighter, you still can't wear the heavy armor of a fighter while casting your wizard spells. They level concurrently. You take whichever one gives you the highest hit points. You take the best saves for each class, so you would have the higher fortitude of the fighter and the higher will of the wizard. You take the best base attack bonus of each class, so you take the base attack bonus of the fighter. And that's about it, I think. Each class counts for doing certain things. Also, you can prestige class, but you can't take 2 prestige classes at the exact same time. So, you know, like, imagine it's like 2 tracks or something. So you have fighter going up here, you have a wizard going up here. You decide to take... things will cross over for the purposes of qualifying. So you have levels in fighter for purposes of getting fighter feats. You have all those abilities from fighter count for doing something if you want to do it on the wizard side. So if you want to go Eldritch Knight, which is a half fighter, half wizard, then, you know, that prestige class can get tacked on. But you can't then take like the Cavalier prestige class or something over here, Spell Sword prestige class over here or something at the same time. You can only be tracking one. So theoretically, what you really could do is you could go, you know, so many levels of wizard, take the Eldritch Knight, and then at the same time you're doing fighter all the way straight up. And then when you're done with Eldritch Knight or whatever, you just switch over, where you can flip-flop between them, so you do whatever. Personally, I would like the idea of go straight wizard, never stop, and go up fighter, break for Eldritch Knight, and then keep going fighter. I think that would make a lot more sense. You wouldn't lose any spellcasting levels based on switching out of wizard. And yeah, I don't see much of a point in going Eldritch Knight. I mean, a lot of the prestige classes lose their oomph if you're Gestalt. But there was I have built a Gestalt character before, and it was a lot of fun to play. I played a Ranger Paladin of Mystra, the goddess of magic, because there were alternate class levels where I swapped out the features of a level or 3 in order to gain different abilities based on a theme that I was going for. So because I was a Ranger of Mystra and a Paladin of Mystra, what I did is I was able to swap out 3 levels in Paladin and 3 levels in Ranger for these alternative things. I think you could also only swap out 1 level at a time. Like, you had to pick which side, or that didn't matter, or so I don't remember exactly how it went. I do have a few concerns about this, but they're not that big a deal. Until next time.